Hi guys, so I'm Atushi Gupta, your host and dost, back with a bang and the second episode of Sunday Breath Season 2 QuickTakes. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Rishabh Jain, the head of margin management at Pidilite Industries. Now, before we dive deep into the world of finance and dynamic markets, let me share with you a little secret about our esteemed guest. Despite being a top-ranked CA and holding pivotal positions at companies like Aditya Birla Group and Marico, there's something Mr. Jain prefers to keep under the wraps. You see, he's not one to flaunt his impressive credentials. It's almost as if he's secretly harboring a superhero identity. But fear not, dear listeners, especially from the ones who come from the finance domain. Today, I've convinced him to share his wealth of knowledge with us. With over 5 years of experience at Pidilite Industries, he's mastered the art of balancing precision and agility in financial decision making. So without further ado, let's dive deep into our today's topic, which is balancing precision and agility and financial decision making in dynamic markets. So let's welcome Mr. Jain with our first question, which is, how do you balance precision and agility in financial decision making within dynamic markets?
So both precision and ability both are equally important. However, you need to take a judgment which one is more critical depending on the situation. So for example, when you are making a external reporting, say for example to a regulator, to SEBI, to Ministry of Corporate Affairs, publishing your audited statement, and the precision requirement is very, very high, and agility is, we can sort of compromise, or we can have a lower, we can be less agile, but we have to be very, very accurate or very, very precise for that matter. Versus say making a business plan for next 5 years, 10 years, 20, 15 years, 20 years or so, there the agility of creating those plans needs to be high, and the precision may not be that important as agility is, because as we all know, businesses are dynamic in nature, and we need to have that capability wherein we are able to build in various types of business dynamics into that financial model. So how do we really do that? So I would say the good old Pareto analysis: be as precise and as agile as possible in the top 20% causes which are relevant for 80% of the decisions. So one is a good old school Pareto analysis. Use your business judgment to arrive which are the relevant factors. Learn from your past wherever your agility and having less agility or being less accurate has resulted into wrong decisions, or led to a lot of rework. So work on that. Learn from that and make sure don't repeat your past mistakes. And the last thing I would say is automate, because automation is something that provides you, which saves you a lot of time, so that you can invest that human capital in making the business more agile and more accurate.
So that was indeed a great answer. So let's just jump on to our next question, which is, what are the main challenges faced when trying to maintain this balance, and how can they be addressed?
So the major challenge that we face while balancing agility and precision in business decision making is the change in the criticality of factors. So in a certain area you might feel that precision is more important, you need not be that agile while taking the decision, but as the time lapses, as you reach the real implementation phase, you realize that you need to be more agile, and vice versa. So that is one thing that affects us all the most. Second is the external factors like forex. I mean, who can predict forex, right? So I remember in one of the while working with one of the international business partners, it was one of the vendors in Latin American country. Their currency suddenly depreciated by 40%, and he just could not obligate the contract that we had done with them. Now this is something that nobody can predict. How do you build it? So there I would say, how do you really overcome these challenges like forex, international freight, is you need to be more agile, you need to be on top of situation, and you need to work closely with your business partners, be it your vendors, be it your customers, be it your employees, be it your investors. You need to work closely with them, have a clear line of communication, so that you are able to set the right expectation and deliver accordingly. And see, in the end, the one challenge to summarize all the challenges, one thing that I would say to summarize all the challenges is, at the end we are all humans. So when you make decisions, you make it as humans, not as robot, not as artificial intelligence. So there are bound to be things that you can't predict. There are bound to things that are bound to happen which you may not have answers to, and you need to learn how to live with that ambiguity, with that uncertainty, and how do you navigate through uncertainty and ambiguity. So that's, I would say, would summarize the challenges that we face while balancing agility and precision in business decision making.
Well, listening to you, Mr. Jain, literally makes me feel like I might have missed my calling in finance. Who knew crunching numbers could also sound so interesting? But I guess that's the magic of our guest's expertise. So let's just go on to our last question for this episode, which is, could you provide a practical example of a situation where balancing precision and agility was crucial in financial decision making and how it was managed effectively?
First example, I would take off one of our international units based out of Sri Lanka. Now, a couple of years back, we all know that they had a deep economic crisis and their currency devaluated as if there is no tomorrow. So what was required at that point in time, that we needed to price our products in a way that we are able to recover that forex loss, because in a country like Sri Lanka, mostly everything is imported and the prices were increasing every day. So how do you do that? So what we did is we priced our product ahead of forex depreciation. So if we are expecting a 40% depreciation in the currency based on whatever estimates are available in the market, we priced our product assuming that the currency is going to depreciate by 50%. So that gave us that cushion, that elbow room to play around and have that time to make the right decision when we saw further depreciation happening. That is one example, I would say, where we handled the agility and precision very well. Second part is the sea freight. So recently, because of the recent war going on in the Middle East between Israel and Gaza, there is a lot of tensions in the Red Sea. Now, Red Sea is one of the most, or I would say the most critical sea passage for the global trade. Now, with whatever uncertainty happening in that part of the globe, suddenly the sea freights have gone up. Now, how do you really handle the cost of inbound and outbound cargo in that scenario? So what we did is, so our customers typically in the East and West Europe and on the East Africa, suddenly we were not able to price or give our products at a competitive rates because the freights were going up, and whatever margins we had were being consumed by the sudden spike in the sea freights because of all these tensions going on. So what we did is we had a very close relation with our, we had a very close communication channel with our customers. We sat down with them, discussed the issue, and what the customers told us is that they don't really mind the increased freight, because that's because of the freight, there is a general inflation in their country. What they mind is the frequent change in the prices and the way they can handle their business locally. So what we did is we changed our contract in a way that we priced our products on a FOB, free on board basis. So that means that the freight, the cost of transportation from India to the respective country is now transferred to the customer, and whatever freight we had built into our pricing, we gave them that much discount. And the actual freight can be, there are documentary evidences which show that how much freight we are incurring. So there was a kind of transparency that we were able to establish with our customers, and which gave them the liberty, the visibility to price the products locally and protected the profit margin, our profit margin.
So this brings us to the end of our episode today. I would like to thank Mr. Rishabh Jain to join me on this episode today. And of course, I would like to thank all the listeners who are listening to this video right now. And stay tuned for the next episode.